What harmful things are being taught to children? Not owning up to their mistakes or blaming them on others. What to think instead of how to think. Being wrong is bad. That's why many people don't change their mind when they were given trustable sources. They don't want to be wrong. How to internalize stress and implode as teens and adults. In a nasty divorce, the parents may only talk about each other's bad qualities, and the kids may have an issues with their parents. That failure is bad. Failing should not be considered as an obstacle but a step in the learning process. Demonizing the failure and stigma associated with it makes many children lose their interest once they fail. That they shouldn't question an adult. You do not have to play with everyone. There is a total lack of social accountability. If Laura is always cheating at tag, it's okay to not let her play. If little Billy throws sand in the sandbox, little Timmy does not have to play with him. Laura and Billy need to learn how to play appropriately. Happened to my son in middle school. A kid sucker punched my son. My son then fought back and pinned the kid against the wall. He has long arms. And punched him a few times. The school called me and my wife and told us our son was suspended. We went to the school, and they said even though multiple witnesses, as well as the kid, said he threw the first punch, that the school had a zero-tolerance policy, so our son would be suspended. We asked what the school believed our son should have done, and they said he should just walk away. We told them that he would not be receiving any punishment at home, and that the policy was fucked up. No is a bad word. It's a strong word but not a bad one. No baktalk. Many adults use it as, you're not allowed to challenge what I have to say. Makes sense if it's a cranky toddler being negative for negativity's sake, but suddenly older children can't question things or raise valid points of their own. Teaching them that it's not okay to fail. Some people need a little more time than others. It's okay to not get something now. Kids should be given more time to process things. Imagine having a poor grade because of a low score from the beginning of the year. How can we show children that it's not pass or fail, it's try and improve? Nobody cares about children's/teens issues. Well, it's only going to get worse from here. You think school is hard? Have you ever paid a fucking bill? You're just a kid, you can't feel this way. It breeds an emotional disconnect from parents and their kids, and makes kids feel alone in their emotional struggles, that nobody cares because they're not adults and they don't have adult problems. Kids are starting social media so early these days, and I think that's very dangerous because it puts a lot of pressure on the kid to attribute their worth to their social media success. I also think parents are way too open with their social media when it comes to their kids, and it's totally a violation of the child's privacy, of which some parents will never admit. Probably not harmful, but in kindergarten we were prohibited from playing soccer because it was too dangerous. We were kindergartners. We probably would stand there and kick the ball, not go full on FIFA or shit. Little girls get told all the time that boys are bullying them because they like them. I personally hate when I hear parents telling their kids white lies to stop them from doing something. If you have a different opinion than someone, you hate them, and that's wrong. Bullies are only bullies because they feel insecure about themselves, and you should sympathize with them. Fuck that. If someone is being shitty to you, then they don't deserve your sympathy. Making children hug or kiss someone, usually a relative, that they are uncomfortable with is not good. The child may just be grumpy and or not wanting to show affection, or their warning bell sensors could be going off, and they do not know how to communicate that. Plus, forcing them to hug/kiss sends mixed messages about personal/physical boundaries and affection itself. That complaining is the same as not being grateful. Can't count the number of times growing up when adults basically told me to shut up whenever I was complaining about something, and that I should be grateful that I was born where I was. Like, sure, I'm glad I wasn't born into some starving African family, but that doesn't mean everything is perfect over here, and that we shouldn't try to improve things here as well. I would say what's harmful is what's not being taught. She's younger than you, just let it go. Can't you be more compassionate? You're the older one here in this situation. She's a little child, she doesn't know any better. Absolutely hate this information that was drilled into me since I was a kid. I think what we're not taught is more harmful. For example, the fact that we never learn, at least in my country, how to fact-check things. Good will win, evil will be punished. There is no karma. Some people will do all sorts of shitty stuff, and be successful and happy. Other people will do good, and will end up with cancer. Political views, at ages that children are really too young to understand them. They just spout off their parents' thoughts. Teaching kids not to question things just because someone is older, or allegedly wiser, is one of the most frustrating things that I see on a daily basis. How is a child supposed to ever develop any individual and nuanced ideas if they can't think for themselves? Doing the right thing will sometimes make others hate you. Be prepared for that. That everybody is a winner. No. Losing and disappointments are part of life, and they are integral to your growth both emotionally and socially. We have a lot of people who enter the real world who have been told they are deserving of things just because and cannot take rejections and losses in their personal and professional lives with any grace whatsoever. This is also resulting in mediocrity being accepted as a norm cause nobody wants to call out ineptitude, while the hard work and dedication being put in by people who do end up in good positions are being played down. It's a little harsh, but it's true. Kids gotta learn how to lose before they can truly start to win. That's the only way being gracious in victory will ever come about. That you can be anything you want in life. Sorry, but this just isn't correct. Poor Eddie, who can't grasp basic division, isn't going to be an astronaut. Basically all those shit social media influencers that teach young people that it's all about money and brand names. If he's mean to you, he likes you. It just teaches little girls, mostly girls, to expect violence from people who love them. Finishing your plate. You should eat till you're full, not until there is no more food on your plate. Kids today are more aware of consequence and their digital footprint than any generation before. Speaking strictly of middle and high school aged kids, they're extremely well aware of how something can come back to bite them later in life. Some might think this is good and a step towards a more mindful generation, but I disagree. They've just gotten better at hiding it. For the sake of maintaining a happy face and limiting their digital footprint, kids today repress anything that might be perceived as off track. School is the only way to be successful and college is a requirement. Being discouraged to speak up about illnesses because it makes them weird / something's wrong with them. They talk about like, you need therapy, which isn't a bad concept and you probably do need it, but they picture it in such a bad light. The lie that life is fair and things happen for benevolent, valid reasons. Then we let them get burned and figure it out themselves. That it's okay to take your anger out on other people. And that everyone should have social media and compare themselves to those who look better. History from a single perspective. I am a history teacher and I firmly believe one of the most damaging things schools do is teach history from a single perspective, especially a Eurocentric one. It just isn't how history works and causes lots of issues for any person / group who doesn't share that single perspective. P.S. Teaching what I call great man history is almost as bad. History was made by more than presidents, inventors, and celebrities. Teaching only about significant figure after significant figure minimizes the impact of the 99.9999999% of the population that isn't super famous. This is more at a high school level, but that trade schools or learning a trade is a lesser option compared to a standard college degree. Trade schools and learning a skilled trade need just as much emphasis as a college degree. Along those same lines, college or trade school should be treated as a busy investment. Time should be taken for kids / teens to examine how long it will take to repay their schooling. And if that degree is worth the money, especially now with previous generation living longer and staying in the job market longer. Combined with more and more people graduating with degrees, there is more supply and the demand is not growing evenly in all areas of expertise. No tolerance policy and fighting back if you are getting beat up isn't right. Also no hitting girls back. Teaching them to respect authority instead of learning to freely question everything. That they don't have to be personally responsible for their actions, and blame can always be shifted to some societal ill. Telling little boys to not cry and be a man. That you shouldn't hit a woman. Don't hit anyone. Unless it's self-defense. If my child is being hit by a woman and bullied. Equal rights, equal fights. We have athletes graduating college unable to read. So pro sports? Lack of electronics. Then given an overdose of electronics. Things happen to me and now I can't stop playing games. Also, I'm restricting myself now. Going too far on the find your dream job and it'll never feel like work stuff. Really messed me up when I wasn't excited about uni assignments and thought I had to change degrees. School grades determine worth. No telling tales or snitching like how many kids are abused or bullied and won't come forward because of this. That they are special and unique compared to everyone else. I'm not saying to destroy a kid's self-esteem, but the longer that bubble isn't popped, the harder it is for them to accept that they are probably just as average as the other 7 billion people. Kids need to know failure and disappointment before they become adults. Do as I say, don't do as I do. That the news is completely reliable. That the world outside your house is a scary and dangerous place. In the United States, it is largely not. Let them explore without fear. In Pakistan, most of the girls are never taught any survival skills. My wife can spend 6 hours shopping for clothes, but doesn't know anything about any hardware or electrical stuff. Please, 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 teach the girls to be self-sufficient. Teach them how to repair little stuff at home at least. My wife can now repair electric sockets and extension cords, etc. My nephew is selfish little shit who won't let anybody play with his toys or share his food, but throw a tantrum if my niece won't share her stuff with him. I so want to slap that little turd when he does that, but his mother sometimes behaves like an entitled mother. So I keep my distance but try to correct him when she is not around. So teach your kids to be considerate but also teach them to stand their ground when someone tries to two-time them. The oxymorons that parents use and expect you to understand them. And hashtag X200B. Hey mom, you need help with the dishes? And hashtag X200B. No thanks nerf herder, I'll do it myself. And hashtag X200B, proceeds to walk away / and hashtag X200B. Oh, now you are not gonna help your don't you know how much I'm going through? You are fucking grounded, you missed abortion. That you need to go to college instead of saying college is an option. That they don't have bodily autonomy. Simple things like, oh, give your aunt / uncle a hug / kiss, when they're very young and have refused to but parents keep insisting. You're just teaching kids that their body isn't theirs. If a kid refuses to give someone a hug, that's their decision. A damn grown-up should be able to live with that. Teaching kids to feed ducks bread is really harmful to the duck's digestion and nutrition. It seems like forcing kids to eat everything off their plate is pretty harmful. It doesn't matter if they're full, they have to clean off their plate, and they can't leave the table until they do. It's not exclusively about what is taught, but how it is taught. For many children it seems like that many things are taught in absolutes. Boys don't cry, and girls have to behave like little princess. But these things are optional and definitely not the only right thing to do. Girls can drive a heavy machinery and boys should be allowed to cry. In fact, crying is healthy. Keep in mind, these are examples for the sake of simplicity. Also, to get back to how things are taught seen from a totally different perspective. A lecture. As one teacher who is 60-year-old and hasn't had an upgrade on how to teach children, standing in front of 30 14-year-olds telling them about mathematics is not the way to go. There are girls and boys in one classroom, which is enough distraction at this age, and even a window seems far more interesting. I'm not the guy who can give you the better option on how to improve everything, but I think how it is done today is not ideal. This one is about boys specifically. That men don't cry, or show joy, or give your kids a ton of love. I say nah, screw that. I'm gonna shower my kids in love. He's being mean to you because he likes you. No, Patricia, he's being mean to me because he's a fucking asshat. Always get a high grade. I got a B instead of an A, big deal, you didn't have to break my laptop. The parents never make a mistake. That you can be anything you want when you grow up. I know you need to encourage children, but that's a lie and it really hurts when you figure it out. Giving the kids anything they want without them working to get what they want. Also, telling the kids all their problems will magically go away in time, without them doing nothing. Baby Shark. Not that it's inherently harmful, but given the chance, my 5-year-old would watch that shit for 8 hours a day. What is it about those sharks? Do. Respect your elders. Respect must be deserved, not expected. Also, the argument of, I put a roof over your house and fed you. Congrats. You've done the bare minimum that is legally required of a parent. Sorry you chose this for yourself when you decided to birth a living being. When people said don't fight back to me, I always ignored them. I'm the youngest of 5 kids. We always had to stand up for yourself. One day when I came home with a bloody nose and black eye, my parents asked me what happened. I told them I got the shit beat out of me. My parents said if the little shit that beat me up came up to me again that I had permission from them to beat the fuck out of him. Next day he came up to me and wanted to fight. I beat the ever-loving crap out of him and was suspended for a week. The teachers knew he was bullying me too and did nothing because it was the principal's kid. Moral of the story is if someone is bullying you, bully them back. Generally just overprotecting them from the outside world. Kids that are raised in such a way have a hard time when they go out into real life.